Making a Needle. Li Bai, a famous Chinese poet, did not like to study when he was young. One day, he skipped school. He went to play by the river. He met an old woman there. The old woman was grinding a big iron rod. Li Bai was curious. He asked, "Honorable Grandma, what are you doing?" The old woman replied, "Dear child, I am making a needle." Li Bai was surprised. "A needle? But how can you make a needle out of this huge iron rod?" he said. The old woman smiled and said, "You see, as long as I keep grinding, the rod will surely become a needle one day." Li Bai was inspired. He vowed to study with the same kind of determination. He returned to school to study seriously and became the most famous poet in Chinese history. Children in China today are still required to recite his poems.
The Dragon Lover. Once upon a time, a county officer was known for his love of dragons. His name was Yigong. He told everyone about his devotion to dragons. Yigong decorated his house with images of dragons. He had dragons outside on his doors and windows. Inside, he had a big dragon mural. His dishes had dragon designs on them. His clothing was full of dragon prints. The real dragon heard of Yigong's devotion to dragons and decided to pay him a visit. One day, it showed up at Yigong's house. Its head was in the window and its tail in the door. "Hello, my friend," the dragon said. Yigong was terrified and screamed, "Who are you, evil monster?" The dragon was surprised. It said, "I am the dragon you like so much. Don't you know me?" Yigong begged the dragon to go away. He was not a true dragon lover after all.
The Walking Lesson. Xiao Ling was a young man from the state of Yan. He was not very confident. He thought others were better than he was. When he looked at other people's clothing, their styles seemed much nicer. When he listened to other people's speech, their words seemed more elegant. One day, Xiao Ling decided to learn the style of the people in the state of Zhao. They were especially known for their wonderful ways of walking. Xiao Ling moved to Zhao and observed and practiced how to walk like the people in Handan, the capital. He imitated old and young people, males and females. However, after a year's imitation, Xiao Ling was not very successful. He failed to walk with the dignity of old people, the energy of young people, the masculinity of men, or the gentleness of women. Worst of all, Xiao Ling forgot the way he used to walk. Feeling utterly unsuccessful, Xiao Ling crawled his way back home.
The Man and the Bell. A wealthy family named Fan had a wonderful set of Bianzhong bells and many other valuables. However, the family got in trouble and they had to flee in the middle of the night to save their lives. They abandoned their belongings and people came to take away the things in their household. A poor man wanted to have their largest bell. He was afraid that others would also want the bell, so he tried to sneak it away. But it was too heavy. The man went to get a hammer, thinking, "If I break the bell, I can carry away the pieces easily." When he struck the bell, it made a loud noise. The man covered his ears immediately. He hit the bell again, but he could not hear it, so he thought others could not hear it either, and they would not come to take it away. So he continued to strike the bell.
Waiting for a rabbit. Once upon a time, there was a farmer who wanted to have a good life, but he had to work in his field and take care of his crops to make a living. One day, the farmer was resting by a tree near the field. A rabbit raced by, being chased by a hunter. The rabbit accidentally ran into the tree. It broke its neck and died instantly. The farmer was very happy to have the rabbit for dinner. The farmer said to himself, "My luck is about to change. I do not need to work any more. I can rest by this tree and wait to pick up a delicious meal every day." From then on, the farmer stopped working in the field. Instead, he kept waiting by the tree, expecting another rabbit to hit the tree, but it didn't happen. So the farmer never got a second free dinner. His field became worthless, and he became the laughing stock of his fellow country people.
The Lost Sheep. One day, a shepherd lost a sheep. He asked his fellow villagers to help him find the sheep. Many went to help. Some went to the east, others went to the west. Still others went to the north and south, but the sheep was not found. In the evening, everyone returned home disappointed. The shepherd told the village teacher about the event. The teacher asked why it was so difficult to find the sheep. The shepherd replied, "There were too many roads in the countryside. Although we sent many people to all directions, there were not enough people to investigate all the roads." The teacher became very troubled and solemn for several days. His students asked him why he was sad. The teacher said, "The lost sheep reminds me of solving problems during the journey of learning. There are many roads in this journey. If people cannot focus on the problem, they will get lost and will never solve the problem."
The Larger Pears. Long ago, there was a little boy named Kong Rung. He was a genius. He was able to recite many poems at the age of 4. He was very smart and also very kind. Kong Rung had 6 brothers. 5 of them were older. One day his father brought some pears for them. Instead of choosing a big one for himself, Kong Rung chose the larger pears, giving them to his older and younger brothers first. He saved the smallest one for himself. His father observed this and asked him why he did so. Kong Rung replied, "I am younger than my older brothers, therefore I ought to respect them and let them have the larger pears. On the other hand, I am older than my younger brother. I ought to take care of him and let him have a larger one." His father was very pleased with him. Kong Rung became a famous poet when he grew up. However, people remember him mostly for his unselfish act as a little boy.
The Man and His Horse. Sai was an old man in Zhongguo. He had many horses. One day he lost one of his horses. His neighbor felt sorry for him and tried to comfort him. However, Old Man Sai predicted that this was not necessarily an unfortunate event. A few days later, Sai's horse came back with another horse. His neighbor was amazed that Sai's prophecy came true. Old Man Sai, on the other hand, was not thrilled. He said, "It might not be a blessing to gain a free horse. Sai had a son who liked to ride. He fell in love with the new horse and rode it every day. One day, he fell from the horse and broke his leg. Instead of being upset, Old Man Sai saw this event as a blessing in disguise. A few days later, the Huns invaded China. Young men were drafted and went to war. Many of them died. However, Sai's son could not join the army because of his broken leg. The accident with the horse saved his life.
The Clam and the Crane. A military advisor, Mr. Su, heard that the state of Zhao was going to attack the state of Yan. Mr. Su wanted to prevent the war, so he went to visit the Zhao emperor. He told the emperor a story. "Your Honor, on my way to see you this morning, I saw a crane and a clam on the river bank. The crane had poked its beak into the clam to get its meat. The clam had closed its shell tight, refusing to let go of the crane's beak. Neither of them would give up. They were determined to continue the fight and did not notice a fisherman who happened to walk by. He captured both the crane and the clam for dinner." Su continued, "The most honorable emperor of Zhao, if you attack the state of Yan, Zhao and Yan would be like the crane and the clam, and the state of Qin would be the fishermen who would really benefit from the fighting." Zhao Emperor was enlightened by the story and gave up the plan to attack Yan.
The Bamboo Artist. Bamboo is a common theme in traditional Chinese arts. Bamboo symbolizes honesty and modesty, as it is hollow in the middle. Wen Tong, a famous artist, was especially known for painting bamboos. Wen Tong planted bamboos all around his house, observing them day and night in all 4 seasons and all weather: spring, summer, winter, and fall, in sunshine or in rain. Whenever he painted bamboo, he never needed to make a sketch. He immediately painted the final picture as realistic as real bamboo in a short amount of time. People admired Wen Tong's skills and wanted to learn from him. However, Wen Tong was modest and said he still could use much improvement. His good friend, Su Shi, another famous artist, told the people about Wen Tong's secret. Wen Tong knew the nature of bamboo so well that he always knew what he was going to paint before he put the image on paper. The secret of Wen Tong's success was his years of observing and learning the essence of bamboo.
Practice. An archer was known for his skill with his bow and arrow. His townsfolk praised him often, and he was proud of himself, too. One day he showed off his skills in the marketplace by hitting a target easily. The crowds cheered for him. However, an old peddler who was selling oil was not impressed. The archer was offended by the old man's attitude. He asked the old man, "You don't think I'm very good, do you?" The old man responded, "You are merely hitting a large target that is not moving. With practice, one can do anything. There is nothing extraordinary about it." Without any further explanation, the old man put a gourd on the ground. He made a small hole in the gourd and then covered it with a Chinese coin that had a smaller hole in it. Holding his oil tank high, he poured the oil through the hole in the coin into the gourd. Then he picked up the coin to show the crowd. There was not a single drop of oil on the coin. The crowd and the archer were amazed. Since then, the archer has stopped bragging about his skills, and he now practices even harder.
The Reflection of the Snake. Mr. Yue Gong and Mr. Ma were good friends. They visited each other often. One day it occurred to Yue Gong that Ma had not visited him for a long time. He went to Ma's house to see what was going on. Ma was sick in bed at home. When asked why, Ma said, "Dear friend, when I went to eat at your house last time, I saw a snake in the wine cup. I did not want to drink the wine. However, you kept forcing it on me. I did not want to offend you and drank the wine. I have been sick since then." Yue Gong was puzzled to hear the story, knowing there was no snake in the wine. When he returned home, Yue Gong saw a bow on the wall in the dining room. There was a painting of a snake on the bow. He then realized that the snake in the wine cup was actually a reflection of the painting on the bow. Yue Gong invited Ma back to his house. He poured some wine in the cup and showed him the picture on the bow and the reflection of the snake. Ma's sickness was cured immediately.
The Teacher's Mother. Meng Zi was a famous Chinese teacher and Confucian philosopher. He was raised by his mother, who had great expectations of him. She moved their home 3 times for his benefit. At first, they lived in a village. Meng Zi often got into trouble fighting with other boys. His mother thought the environment was not good for him and moved away. In the second village, they lived near a blacksmith. Meng Zi acted like the uneducated blacksmith. His mother moved near a cemetery. Meng Zi's mother found him imitating the grave diggers. Finally, she moved to a village and lived by a school. Meng Zi started to imitate the teacher by playing school. His mother was pleased. One day, however, Meng Zi didn't want to go to school anymore. His mother taught him a lesson. She cut the fabric she was weaving. "I am weaving the fabric to make a garment, but the garment will never be made if I stop making the fabric. Being successful in studies is like making a garment. You can't stop halfway." Meng Zi listened to his mother, went back to school, and studied hard. He became one of the greatest Chinese philosophers.